Hello, what's up? It's Junchan, and we're back for some rebranded commodic exploration, right? We're going to go back to trying to hook up Purescript React Explorer to Purescript React Basic. So that's probably worth a series in itself. So that's why I have a little title change to that. And so we can be a little bit more focused. Oh, well, looks like my VStudio is not reacting. I think I'm going to have to terminate it. Okay, well, it's a little bit of housekeeping. I think last time I tried to do that, it didn't work very well. Maybe it will. Keep waiting or close. And yeah, looks like code or kill. Yeah, I think that's the way to go. Okay, so let's open this and let's open presence and get started. So let's do our housekeeping. Last time I didn't write anything in Purescript React Explorer, so let's just get started. How about that? And let's save things and duplicate into September 9th. Okay. There we go. So we just get started. We basically, got a test.main such that if we did npm start, port 1234 is in use, but I suppose that's okay. And yeah, we got our counter examples to work. So in this version, in this instance, we are using render from I think okay, hold on. We're using render from React Basic DOM. Oh, so actually I think I still have done some work already that's working, at least to get UI to export. What is the type of UI? Am I running the Purescript ID here? Not clear. I don't have. I don't have types. Okay, what's going on? Output ID Purescript. Found existing port from file. Starting on another port and then connection refused. Right. We had this before. Maybe just reloading the window. The starting server already started. Connection refused. Okay, let's try and kill all purse and reload. Starting ID server, new config, resolved, and cache DB was changed. Loading. There we go. Okay. And there's a problem. Right, that's where we were. So actually, it's not true that we get it working. where we're at is that we are starting to try and change the type of Explorer so that we can properly render a GSX instead of a React element. Right, and I have all of this in line in the main in the test file, in the test.main module for now. Okay, so here I'm using B, which is React Basic Classic and a component and JSX. And I want to return BGSX, and I think that render is almost the right shape. It just requires, I think, some polymorphic type for initial state, like a polymorphic row, like an extensible row or something. Let me see. How does this work? I need to probably go to pursuit and then look at the type of, so we want a component spec, I think. That's what we're passing to create component. And we're passing render. To be honest, that might be more what we want. I think that's a more classic way to do things, is to say something like element of blah, and this being a React element instead of a JSX. Yeah, I think that makes sense. So let's try that. So is it going to be, so that's actually in React itself that I'm looking. So that's actually not really what I wanted to do. React basic DOM instead. Is what we want. Apparently I have trouble loading it. Here we go. Render takes a JSX and a DOM element to where we attach things. And yeah, I think I need to look at React Basic Classic. Or to be honest, hooks. Actually, yeah, I'm doing all this with Classic here. So maybe Classic actually. And right, so we're supposed to pass an initial state that has type state and render that has self props state. And is that what's causing the problem? I don't think so. Self. We don't know the type of self here. But it has state and has set state. Which makes sense. But look at this. This is a row and this is a record. So what am I doing here? We're passing space, a component W, as initial state. But initial state Okay, let's try and write a type for render. I think we're saying that type for render is self props state. So self, and then we're kind of saying for props, but we're saying for a particular state, which is component W. Isn't that the case? Apparently, well, actually, we haven't saved. I think, yeah, that might not be the case in the end. Okay. To JSX. And this might be b.self, no? I suppose I have to import it. Oh, it's there. Ah, it's there as self. Okay, I see. It's been imported already. So self.state, we can't deconstruct or pattern match like this for some reason. Why not? Self represents the blah blah blah, and it's a row, and it has state in it, and state in it has type state. And maybe we simply don't put it inside a record. How about that? Call it space. No, we call it state. How about that? Here. Set state. Ah, yes, of course. This doesn't need to be inside a record. Maybe we can pattern match on, or can we actually? State is just state, so I don't need to be actually. How about if we do that? I think then how about that? I think that's better actually. Because now render, I need to look at the old Explorer. Render here. Let's look at React. Let's look at React again. And let's look at render. And render is a effect React element. So when we say pure blah, that's what we mean, but maybe we don't say pure anymore. We just say this. But here that's a props to JSX, and that's what we need to return, unless I just return JSX and I let the props occur somewhere else. And still the same error. So you're saying, yeah, of course, this has props too. So I've modified this up there. How's this now? Well, now we're missing props. We're creating a component. But if we use make, which is, this is really not the right name here. B dot, change to RBC dot. Okay, that's enough, except here. So we use the make from React Basic Classic. And that returns something that returns the props to, so maybe we do keep props here. And then what? Right. Yes. So D, yeah, of course, D is not what we want here. We want the React Basic DOM stuff, which are things like text and, well, div, I suppose. Props div prime, that give us a JSX, exactly. So we're just going to say, and those are in React Basic DOM, and React Basic DOM we import as R. Okay. So let's say that this is going to be R div and so on. And P, I don't know, that must be props. Do we have props as a separate thing? Tab index is, there are props blah. Right, so I think they're just records, I think, these days. Then let's look at some example code. React Basic Classic, counter, and render self. Okay, let's look at something. Controlled input or something. R.input. Yeah, those are indeed. I think that's how it works well. I mean, the comma and the curly brace, and children are still in arrays, so that should be okay, I think. Okay, arrow h1, JSEC with array of JSX, blah. H1 with tab index on key up, and I would assume oh, that's funny. H1 prime is a React component record, and H1, I wonder how those things work together. Those aren't primes here. H1 takes a record and return JSX. So that's what we want. And diff prime, is that the problem? Yeah, it's div underscore that we want here. All right. Okay, I can't. Our div takes array JSX to JSX. And that's array JSX, I believe, because H1 it takes this record and an array JSX, right? H1 takes a record and oh no, it doesn't take a children. So you must go into children. So React component is the form that I suppose can have children. Is that? I think yeah, that's basically just boom and children blah. No? What am I doing wrong? Basic. H1. It takes a record of attributes. React Basic DOM R. I'm trying to make children. Oh, children is going to be an array. key up has the wrong type now. So let's look at on key up. An event handler. Effect. An event handler is a synthetic event performs some effects in return. On change. Directly handler. Actually, handler. Yeah, handler is a thing. So, but there was also capture, but handler prevent default target value, blah value. Handler takes an event effect, synthetic event, A. Handler target value. What's target value? Handler target value something. Handler from here, target value from here, and then we need a prop here, which is label counter. And it compiles. Okay. Let's see whether it works or not. We don't use the label, right? As of now, and we use explore counter, and we don't do anything with the props as far as I can tell at this point. We just return a props to blah, and the props don't really play any role in the comonad. Okay, so we need to think about so make something basic work, and we did that. Yay. How to use props. That would be another thing we want to try and do. And what else? So the way this works here is that props are just passed. So we could pass props here, but I don't know that that's really what we want. And the comonad thread state, but the props being immutable, actually it kind of makes sense to pass it here. So maybe props would be passed here, such that we have label here, and then we use label, say, here. And then we can't pass, I mean, we can pass the label here, but we have to somehow deal with props in a slightly different manner. And how would that be exactly? free with function. Oh, well, I suppose it could just be this, actually. Is that right? No. Because Explorer takes props for some reason. Yeah, so I suppose, can I just do that? I think that we're then, yeah, we then just don't have make available, but then I suppose we could possibly say that we instead return a component, or yeah, an RBC component. Is that possible? Or React component? Actually, I think that's right. It's like for any props. And what's wrong with that? It just doesn't work, does it? Right, because of the make. Create component. Takes a string and a component props. So maybe we just say boom, and that's it. Record with type components. Okay. React Basic Classic. Create component. Maybe we say that it's fine, that it's props. Okay, so let's try that again. I think I'm returning to where it was just a second ago. Yeah, except that maybe it is size like so. And now we're returning JSX indeed. And in the RBC, the RBC kind. And then we're back to this problem. Yeah, there's something about how props are passed there that I think I'm not doing right. Because I want to hide the state part of things. But I need to pass props in a different way. I don't know how. Makes sense to have props here, but I suppose I could also have props here. Could I have state? And props being passed. How would I do that? Render blah. UI. take state, but then we basically want to make that is state, isn't it? So what we passed state and props, and we pass props, and we pass props. I think that's not going to work here. Const is going to need to change. And AP, yeah. So UI, we need to depend on props. Yeah, that's the problem, that I'm introducing there a dependency on something. I'm not sure I want to do that. Props, props, props. Okay, I'll take a little break. Be right back. Okay, so it seemed like I was actually on camera instead of with screen capture, and plus my camera also went off. So good thing I took a break. Okay, so we're trying to think about how to thread props, but maybe I should have fun with things without props for now, and see how things go for a bit with this approach. And I think this, and then passing the props like so will do it, right? Except then, of course, label doesn't exist, and so we're actually not. Okay, yeah, it looks like this is the right code. We are actually running, well, we're running something that's React Basic Explore in React with Purescript React Basic. So that's not bad, right? That's so let's apply our suggestions here, and you wish that this would be a little bit less, a little bit smarter, but it is not. And yeah, go down there. Okay, so what's up with that? Oh yeah, props is not a thing. Okay, and then we can get rid of that. And so I think we can actually move this here. And then move React Basic Classic here. Get rid of React, say JSX. Yeah, props is going to be a problem, but I think we can maybe say for all props, maybe that's fine. But then that's not the right component here. Yes, right. So actually we do need to use R, fortunately. Like so. And what's up? We don't use components. Yeah, that's true. We don't. And we define component here. Okay. So that compiles, and now we need to import React Explore. Except that we're going to put it inside Basic, I believe, just so that it's in the same, that it makes sense from a module structure point of view. React Basic Explore, and therefore, well, to be honest, these, oh, that's interesting actually. And I think these need to be also basic, but they can probably be made polymorphic, I think. But it depends. Yeah, we need some abstraction, which I think is what Arthur Xavier did, didn't he? Let's see again. If we code Purescript Common UI forever, for instance, and here we have UI, which has component and component T, and then we have React component. Indeed, and then in theory, summing things. So we could, that's one thing we could do, is to start abstract component from React component a la Arthur Xavier. That's one possibility. That would make things neater. Meaning we could reuse a bunch of these combinators in theory. Okay. Do I want to do this now? I don't know. And here we import React Explorer. And that should give us component. Oh wow, we don't need counter anymore. Or counter prime, I should say. And neither do we need this, in fact. And this compiles. 3, okay, so yeah, this doesn't compute, but this does and works. And yeah, let's clean things up a bit. And remove these references and co and whatnot. We don't need that here. Apply suggestions. We just need, there we go. Okay. Let's clean it up a bit more. That works as well, and you know we don't need that or that. So the thing is we don't use the counter here. We're returning something that takes the props, which is this make that take these props, and then I suppose, yeah, doesn't, maybe render can get us props and then we're done. I think that might be how it's done. Render or self, more exactly. Self has props, of course, and so we say props, and then we pass props. Where do we pass props? I think we pass props here, but then we're back to carrying a props in the types, but I think that's unavoidable because we need our component to display its props. So therefore props. And UI will also have props. And so will this, and so will this. And then we'll have props here. And then I think props here. and here. And then I think we have something with I suppose if it was a tuple, maybe it would be easier. In fact, maybe, how about we make it like state A and props. Is that even a thing? Could be. And then it would mean that, what would it mean? It means that the handler takes props, but that's not what we want. That's not what we want. I think what we want is that the UI take props. In that case, we don't need to pass props. No, that's a little bit too ambitious. Instance props, state props. Handler and props. So props. And then I think then I still need props here. That seems to work. Does it work here? Seems like maybe it shouldn't. So that's strange. It's pretty strange. Because I think what we're saying is that now render, given that UI, we're saying that there's a props here. And let's turn it around. It's going to be nicer. Let's make the props the first thing here, and then put props here. And then props here, that would be label. And then have a label here. How's that? Ah, let's explore. Let's React Basic Explore. That's why things were. That's part of the things that. Yeah, ideally I just delete the output and recreate it. Uh-oh, did I want to do that? Build, script build. React Explorer was not found. Yeah, that's right. It's now basic. Ooh. So it means that maybe some of this stuff's not going to work anymore. Yes, of course it's not. So I think that's where we need to do indeed the Arthur Xavier move, huh? Because otherwise we are not going to be able to keep these abstractions disconnected from their underlying representation. Okay, So, but can I convince myself that this code, I mean, I could just simply, for now, since I'm not using deconvolution, and I could just convince myself that the code works by commenting it all out, which we've done once in the past. And what's up with build? Do I need to reconnect with the ID? Maybe I'll just reload the window. It's not as reliable as I would like, but here's what it is. Okay. You're saying it works. Okay, well, I mean, it's possible. It says counter, and if I change counter prop, I'm using the no HMR here. Yeah, we're not looking at the right thing. Right, there's some stuff that are not found. That's right, because most of that stuff. Oh, hold on, what's going on here? I think Spago build is sort of needed. And test main has an issue, but that's not displayed here. And it's line 41, component counter. Ah, yes, props. And props. Excellent. Okay, so props are done. And the answer to how to use prop was to basically go from a comonad of state to JSX to a comonad of state to props to JSX. And it kind of just worked, which is nice. And so then we could abstract the components, but do we want to do that? Or do we want to do something else? I think I want to do that because I think that's going to do a few things. That's going to clean up the explore code with this right idea, which I quite like. right here. It might allow us to actually then either do the same move as React Basic and React Basic Classic and React Basic Hooks and React Basic DOM, like make things modular so that they can be plug and played. We can start within the same repo, but it could be that in the end we end up with a React Explorer, a React Basic Explorer, and that we can switch things over. Would be quite nice. And then while we do that, I think it'll allow us to progressively go back to our question of how do we make stateful interpreters. But maybe that, I suppose that is one of the things that we could look at now, right? Instead of abstracting over, we could use the fact that we're still in the simpler formulation to make effectful, not stateful interpreters. Because that was one of the rabbit holes that we got into that led us to episode 17 of Common Explorations. And so one of the things that I saw on the way, well, there was this idea of recursion schemes and using maybe a simpler, instead of using build co-free, or even unfold co-free. What is Arthur Xavier using for his examples? This is build co-free. Oh, no, that I think is my example in there. Yeah, so hold on, I need to actually open up something, I think in experiment. Common IQ to do. And look at the main here, I think. And look at, let's say, to do co-free app. Yeah, unfold co-free and specifically unfold co-free T. But the T, if I remember correctly, is for the comonadic transformer. It's a comonad transformer stack. It's not for monadic interpreters. So for monadic interpreters, let me go back to my log and look at what we were doing last with comonads. There were the recursion schemes. Explore M. Oh, no, we couldn't do that. I think we wanted an F2A. Oh, we could. Let's try and see whether Pursuit is actually going to help us find these crazy things here. Can you find this, first of all? You can. But what I want is an M here. And that you cannot quite find. Yeah. Explore M. And not for free. Let's look at the Haskell comonad. Arrows. Right. Right. Commodic fixed points is not what we're interested in today. Okay, let me think about it again. There was a possibility of using code T here and have effect here. And then there was a possibility of using effects in here, I think, as a consequence. So let's try that. This will require us to, I think, open the commodic composition, the playground. Yes, command composition, or the composition POC. I think it's the composition POC. And I think here we have the whole GoT business. So we're going to just replace this and paste it here. And also paste the whole. I think we, oh no, we don't need that, but we don't need the pairing either. And maybe we avoid using this for now. So, but that means I think I need to not use the pairings. And I think that's it. And so now if I go to Purescript, well, I need to be in the, I'm going to remove Spago and output. Data functor pairings been defined multiple times. Why? Spago pairing. Yeah, I told you to remove pairing, but apparently maybe something else depends on pairing. Is that the issue? Must be that day depends on, yeah, day depends on pairing. Well, I suppose if I say it doesn't, maybe you believe me, and then we're happy. Yeah, I don't see pairing here. And then control command at co3 is not found. Yeah, I think that's free. Yeah, it's free. So Spago install free. And then the free T, I think. Except no. And then node buffer. What? In pairing line 38. I mean, you're not really using that, right? No. And the question is, are you using go3t? And it might be, I mean, I remember, yeah, that's one of these instances here. Okay, that's fine. Let's import this guy. Let's copy the whole thing, paste, and let's just assume we're not going to use any of these things for now, and just trans. And control command go free. Trans 2, I see. Okay, what am I doing here? It's in data functor pairing. Control command go free trans. In free T. Free T is here. Control command add co free trans and blah. React Basic data. Oh, that's a weird path. I'm not looking in the right folder is what's happening. Oh my. Okay, so let's remove this. This I think is not needed. And here pairing. We do have free T here, but maybe we have day, but okay, let's remove things again. Yeah, that's not really what I wanted to do. React Basic, okay. Yeah, of course, that goes here. Data functor pairing. You're saying you can't find co-free trans on line 22. Control command add co-free trans. So it must be a version thing. Control command add co-free trans. Yeah, it needs to be in module 6. So we need to import free T independently. And 600 will do. And what are the dependencies? Quite a bunch, but they're all nicely in DAL for us. So we'll benefit from that. And can we make okay, spaces. And yeah, free T looks good. So you're going to install the latest version. Trying. Okay, succeeding. So what is this going to get us? Yeah, it's going to get us trying to get effects working, which is one of the reasons that I went into this amazing. So it would be nice to make effectful interpreters work. And we just have warnings, so that's good. Shall we try and run it just to make sure we're okay? That's strange. Did I delete those modules? I didn't think I did, but look at that, it's not there, so I must have. Strange thing. And go for it. Yeah, maybe I should kill all parcel. How about that? Or node. That's going to kill this. So yes, grab parcel. And this guy, please. And now start in port 1, 2, 3, 4 for our convenience. Thank you very much. And okay. So now we do have Coty. I haven't saved that. So now we need to import Coty, and that's going to be in pairing co. It should co should be a thing that's independent of pairing, by the way. Maybe. Coty, yeah, that's it. It's co.trans. So let's import that. In fact, I'm sure that you already knew that. In fact, it's available directly in the top module, which is how it should be. And then I think okay, now you're not giving me the correct error message. And you're obviously not rebuilding properly. Let's reload. So there should be some error around maybe here needed a pure here, I think. Or yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe not actually. Speckle build. It's so good when the tools work, and then if they are slightly wonky, then immediately it makes things harder, right? 55. Ah, there we go. Yeah, so right. Oh, right. But that's because components are built out of co. And I suppose I need to explicitly allow components to be built out of Coty. And that's a rabbit hole we've been on before, and that's one that actually is similar to this idea of doing things a la Arthur Xavier, although not exactly the same, but I think we're saying now Coty of W and M unit. That's the proper, that's the thing we want. And that's just a tiny bit more complicated to make things work. So yeah, because this needs to be now in some M, and then this probably needs to be run Coty, and then this needs to be an M in M with an M. That's a monad. And I think we've been there before. And now extend doesn't work because run co expect send run co takes our M, which is our Coty, and takes a comonad that is full of A to MR to MR, but that's the whole CPS transform thing. It's not obvious how we make it work, and it probably has to do with const. Maybe we want pure const. Or maybe we want an extend. Oh, but that's where we need distribute or traverse actually. And we're back into the realm of comonad cheat and all of that good stuff, I think. So it seems like do that. Seems that we need, well, let's make this a little bit more precise. We need run Coty, which is of type this. And we need that to do what? We have extend. And it looks like we need that will end up with b equals mb. Therefore, a w of mb that we need to transform into a m of wb. Meaning we'll need sequence or distributive and so on, or traversable. I think that's the case. But we'll get back to this. I'm glad that we're back to that. Well, first of all, we have our first stab of React Basic Explorer working, so that's really cool. And now we're trying to add the functionalities that led us to a pretty deep rabbit hole the other time. But it's worth giving a shot again at it, right? And it has to do with Qt, and it has to do with how we sequence effects and how we distribute the monad around a comonad, and hopefully we'll get this working. It's probable that you know what, it probably won't work if we return a JSX. That's something else that's probably true. But let's say also we did work if Explorer returns JSX, shouldn't it return something like effect component? Then we'll be in effect, right? So that's another important thought, I think, here. And it relates a bit to, yeah, how is it that with Purescript React Explore, we're perfectly happy having components that were therefore, I think, wrapped in effect. Like the React element is actually, I think, wrapped in effect. But here we're back to actually having declarative things. And how does that play? And yeah, so we'll look at this next time. Thanks a lot for watching. It looks like my camera has been blocked for a bit, but that doesn't really matter. I'll just unblock it just to say bye-bye. There we go. Thanks a lot for watching, and I see you on probably Saturday for more of those Purescript React Basic Explore shenanigans, and maybe Purescript React Explore all the things. Maybe we'll explore classic and hooks and you know, refine this the similarities that we see and go back to probably draw from Arthur Xavier's work and all of that stuff. So thanks a lot, and see you on Saturday. Bye bye.